Hi all, welcome to another Chess24 Banter Blitz. So it's about 11:30 UK time. Just to show quickly, you can get 15% off if you use the voucher code Kingscrusher, as this shows here. So, and as a premium member you can challenge me and other streamers every week or every other day. Let's mute over here. Where is that? Just to show quickly, you can get 15% off if you use not well done. As this shows, yeah. So, and as a premium member you can challenge me and other streamers every week or every other day. Let's meet over there. Okay, okay, so with that note, let's take some of the challenges today. Okay, so I'll click challenges and take from the first. Kaz, hi there. I'll try e4 in this first game. Oh, So I hope Kaz is around. Oh yeah, I need to switch to the thing here. Pardon me. Okay. The board view should be coming in. Okay, alright, we might have to abort this game. Let's abort this game. Go on to the next challenge. On M. Okay, this is an interesting start to this stream today. Yeah, with the board it's a bit better. with an opponent is the ideal, really. With an opponent that is playing a return move, this also makes it fun. So I don't know. Maybe I should just try aborting it again. I'll try aborting again. Just challenge later if you did challenge. I'm hoping one of these is going to work soon. Harry 8. Oh dear. Oh dear. What's happened? Sorry. What's happened? This is getting a bit more of a coincidence. Have you guys gone on strike? You don't want to play me today? Oh dear. Is this some exciting event on you'd rather watch? And you forgot about this Banter Blitz, totally. Okay. Alright, I can try again. Alright, I could try a different move. Actually there is a return move here. Oh, that's good. Alright, okay, good. There's a return move. Thank you. So the Tarrasch variation against the French defence. This is kind of lazy d takes e4 because you can get that with knight c3. So if you want to learn less theory, yeah, I think that's a recommendation. This Fort Knox. I think there's a PDF lurking on the internet for the Fort Knox. I think a certain GM, British GM, has done a PDF on it. McDonald? No McDonald, I think. But I think it's like to do with taking and then c6. You get a solid position in the Fort Knox variation. If you do this maneuver and c6 here. But here it seems a little bit different with this structure. I don't remember this. I think this is interestingly favourable for me. Bishop a6. looks tactical, because this looks a bit weird. Bishop a6 looks strong here to me. Maybe even stronger than bishop b5, because on bishop b5 there's queen d7. I like this sort of tactic. I had it played against me by Jim in one of the London Classics, a similar tactic with black. They played like bishop a3. I remember this theme of undermining c6. So bishop a6, interesting move here. I think knight d4 needs to be factored in, but maybe just takes, because then there's a pin on that pawn. Check. King f1, there's no queen d1 there. No, actually, that rook's, what am I talking about? That rook's protected. Knight d4, I have to think of something. Oh, crikey. Maybe after takes queen c6 check. So there's no queen d7, king e7, and then something like bishop d2 for bishop b4. Alright, I think I'm going to grab this pawn. Alright, so this looks like I'm grabbing pawns, doesn't it? Now with the bishop just in its original spot. Okay, there's queen d5. Oh, queen b8. There's an f3 as well. Just bear in mind this g2 could be a concern. Alright, I think I can take on b8 for a moment, as previously noted, because it's check. And then either g3 or f3. Now g3 might have something better going for it, actually. I wanted to do like a4 and queen b5 later. Let's do g3 for a moment. If the bishop moves, I'll take this rook as well, anyway. I think I just want to get the queens off here with a4 and queen b5. I got running past pawn here as well. Right, thanks for the game, Harry. Okay, Fenneman. Yeah, I'll play knight c6. I'm getting well versed in Roy Lopez transpositions now. I wanted to play classical openings. This is a way in, actually, because I'm getting a classical position now, so it's good practice. I think I've wanted to play in inverted commas classically. I think statistically e5 loses less easily than the Sicilian defense. I mean, I expect statistically that the classical approach, that's why they use it in World Championships more than Sicilian defense. Although Kasparov used Sicilian defense quite a lot against Karpov, which made that a very exciting World Championship, matches where the Sicilian defense was played. But there's something about the classical approach. It doesn't seem such a bad idea to occupy the centre with pawns just like this and not have so many imbalances as the Sicilian defence. It's actually, in a way, it's more controlled. It's more controlled how you're going to create some imbalances. And one, I think, recurring theme is f4. I see that even in higher level games. Your idea you can sort of weaken f4, put a knight to f4. So that pawn on e5, that classical pawn on e5 is actually supporting a dangerous knight on f4. So I think there are some benefits of just classic stuff and avoiding Sicilian defense. But I mean, the Sicilian defense is a lot of fun. That's the thing. Okay. But I've got a plan here ready-made on f4. And my double pawns here control these two key squares anyway. So there's no corresponding f5. So I've got f4 without f5 as an issue. Now this, I can do this to try and make sure that rook's not active. Okay, it's a pawn sack, but I might be getting d4 later. A nice knight on d4. Mind you, there's b5 on the passed pawn. This is a bit controversial, actually. Oh well. I'm thinking, okay, say knight h7, rook f3, exchange sack, knight d4. That could be a big knight on d4. That would celebrate my f-file pressure and this idea that... But the knight's going to be kicked now, unfortunately, so I don't think this is going to happen. Unless knight d4 there is any good, because takes. I might be taking on f2 at one day, or not. But I'm not convinced by that. Yeah, b5 might be a good idea here. All right, let's go with this exchange sack. Rook f3 and then knight d4. Yeah, I mean, it's too good an opportunity to pass up. So immediately I'm threatening knight b3 anyway, but knight f3, I want to get the queen round. Okay, he's stopped knight g5. It would be nice to have knight here as well. So maybe queen e7, try and pick this pawn off. Or if the pawn moves, there's knight g5 later. Okay, I can pick that pawn off. I think that's an important pawn to take off, just to get that g5 opportunity. Defend that for a moment. This knight's pretty nice, I think, on d4. But I just want knight g5 without any hassle of my queen side collapsing. So knight g5 and then queen h3 and then knight f3 looks dangerous. In fact, so if I get knight g5, I get queen h3, I get knight f3. So this is now very dangerous, queen h3. And then knight f3. Yeah, it does parry it. I think I just want to enjoy this position. This position here, I think I can enjoy it with the knights. So, okay, I'm not mating or anything, but I'm enjoying the knights here. Now there's rook f2 as a threat. Is it possible I'm wrong about this? Okay, I'm going to take this potentially dangerous passed pawn away. I'll take time out for that, to take that pawn, because I don't want a dangerous passed pawn over here. Put my knight back. I think probably reinforce the knight. Although, say rook b2, c5, there's b4. So I might not bother with that. I can play c6 just to make sure b4, b5 isn't happening here. Now I'm thinking of closing out the h5 escape. If I go king to g6, h7 g6, because I'm not sure white's doing too much. I just improve the position first. White's not doing too much, so that makes sure there's an escape route cut off in advance. There's still no b5 except maybe d6. Yeah, it is possible b5 is on the cards. But here, okay, rook f2 and then knight f3 and then h5, trying to mate basically. So h5, knight f3 and rook h2 is a mating net. Do I mind losing d6? That pawn's held by the knight. The thing is, king g4, there's no h5. I could play h5 in advance. Or I could just take that. I think I'll take it for a moment. That's a passed pawn there anyway. And now close out the g4 square. And then play for knight f3, rook h2. Right, so knight f3. And there's g4 checkmate as well. So there's rook h2 checkmate and there's g4. Alright. That's nice. But I can't play check and then h5, there's king g4. Alright, that's nice. Good one. Maybe there's check, h4 check, rook g2 check. Yeah. I think check. Let's see, check. Let's go with this. Check. Let's follow the checks here. I can take the rook as well, of course. I just realised now. But I think check. Yeah, if the king goes there, then check on g3. Okay, I think check and then check. So check. Oh no, there isn't a check there. Let's take the rook here. Okay, thanks, Fenman. Okay. Jan. I'll play d4 for a bit of variety. So classical stuff. And the Slav's very popular nowadays because it doesn't block in that bishop. So they used to play the Queen's Gambit decline, but it blocks in that bishop. So some people have argued it's an upgrade to the Queen's Gambit declined. So I think it's semi-Slav. This is called. So I think I'm going to just play e3 here, and this blocking in of the bishop, I think, is. You might think that's silly, but it does mean there's no possibility of gambiting the c4 pawn. I can quickly play for e4 here anyway. I think this is a small edge. I think it's a small edge. And you might ask, well, why do I think it's a small edge? I think one thing after knight f6 is that white gets to mark out e5 here. So rook e1 to inhibit e5 from black. With the bishop there also, maybe this pin could be annoying. However, black has plans like c5 later, usually. Okay, so I'm thinking this battery might also be tactically useful at some point. Queen d3. But I'll play this for a moment, which might make black think, well, why is his bishop on d6? He's refusing to move his bishop back now. Now, g5 is outrageous, I think. It would be an outrageous weakening of the king side. I'm looking forward to locking down e5. Okay, that lock on e5 now. The bishop's still a bit of a problem piece. It looks very comfortable that I've got queen d3 and bishop takes f6 here for queen h7. But sometimes this isn't dangerous because the king can just sometimes escape to the centre. And black would have gained that dark square bishop. I've had that in an over-the-board game once against Mears and lost. I video annotated that over the board game. But yeah, sometimes take on f6 is no big deal with the check. So one has to be a little bit cynical about these tactical things if you're giving up the dark square bishop. But I'll play it anyway for a moment. The bishop on f6 actually protects g7, so you know, imagine now that's a panic reaction. It wasn't justified, I believe. That is an outrageous panic. Now I'm tempted just to take on g5, but there might just be an easier way of torturing the weaknesses here with h4, just encouraging them forward to get another pawn lever. You can imagine a pawn on g4, and then say this rook goes there, and then rook f1, and then f3, and then just take it, and we've got the f file plus isolated pawn there and there. So this could lead to isolated pawns on f. The f and the h pawns could be isolated after h4, g4, knight h2, rook e2, rook f1, f3 takes. I would have f file pressure plus isolated pawns to play on. Kasparov, actually, he did this masterclass video, which I find quite interesting, because he did talk psychologically about you have these difficult tactical situations, and he said basically about not panicking, finding a resourceful response. Like he was talking about basic double attacks, finding a resourceful response. Yeah, this is more panic. It creates more damage than needed, but it's how this is exploited. So it's not with a piece sack. Then h4, but I'm slightly cynical about this taking and cd. I don't think black would want to give up that bishop. So let's go with this mentioned plan. It's almost like the plan is isolating pawns, actually. It's not immediately about mating the king. It's just almost about isolating pawns around the king. These two guys. But is g4 going to be played? I mean, there's tactical, but the problem with this, it weakens the dark squares. I mean, not dark squares. It weakens the light squares a bit more. Okay, now I'm going to just take this pawn for free at this rate. Unless he's weakening the light squares, as mentioned. Okay, so it'll be a pawn up. Okay, this looks very interesting now. Okay, there's no queen d5. That pawn's there, because otherwise that would hit the knight and g2. But one must be aware of these possibilities when you uncover the g2 pawn. Now bishop e5 and queen h3 looks remarkably dangerous to me, because I'm creating a crossfire of the bishops here, and I can get my pawn back, and maybe rook h4 and maybe rook h8 and queen h7 later when the knight's not protecting h7, and then there's queen f7. So this rook d4, rook h4, rook h8 is dangerous, potentially. And I'll get my pawn back, of course. Yeah, I thought the don't panic thing was good from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but to hear Kasparov talking about don't panic as well reinforces that idea, especially in chess. You're always going to have difficult problems to solve, but if you can try and solve them resourcefully without adding to the problems, I mean, that's what he's going on about. So rook h4, okay, g2 is protected at the moment. So I'm going to just swing in this rook for a moment. So there might be bishop f6, rook h8, bishop h8, queen h7, king f8, queen f7. So something like this. Okay, thanks for the game, Jan Torrent. Okay, graph. Now this is not an invitation for classical. If I play d5 here, it's like a poor guy's Slav. I think, but I'm going to play it anyway because it's Chigorin. Sorry, I'm casting some doubt on Chigorin. No, I'm sure this Chigorin is fine. Chigorin, I'm sure it's fine. I just don't like it. But I don't like it as much as other lines, and so that's why perhaps I should not consider knight c6 all the time. I'll try and do something about this situation with the c pawn hemmed in. I think one idea might be knight e7 to g6 later. I think there have been games of Shirov played, or no, there's the other one. There's a few exponents of Morozovich. There's one game in Morozovich, he gives up both bishops, and I don't know if it was actually doing that well though, in theory. He's very tactical, so I don't know, it's difficult to evaluate Morozovich games. I'm not sure. But anyway, I think he was well prepared in this scoring though. He just knew his stuff. Okay, let's see. This looks odd, an odd thing to do, to give up the light square bishop. Now, g5 might be justifiable here because I can play bishop g7 and I can't entirely visualize how I'm going to get mated immediately. Let's see. Bishop b7. This bishop can also wait around for bishop b5, I've just noticed. There's another aspect of this position, maybe b5, b4 for knight e4. But there's another aspect with d5, but that rook's safeguarding, it seems, against d5. Sometimes rooks like that just behind pawns, they serve a valuable prophylaxis purpose. I remember there's this classic Kasparov game, he doubled rooks behind his e-pawn just to discourage f5, but here it seems as though d5 is discouraged by that rook. Alright, I got to move this bishop, although e4 looks tempting just to take on e4, although I lose c7 after. But this is winning a centre pawn for a flank pawn. I'm wondering, it might be worth it, you know, because also I'm isolating this d pawn here, so I've got a nice square on d5. Maybe something like queen d5, and then I'm kind of not. The problem with queen d5, if he took my frontal possibilities of attacking the isolated pawn, have just gone if I play queen d5. Unless there's some other perks of this, mind you, the b6 pawn, rook b8, rook b2. Is there any perk of queen d5? I'm not seeing. Maybe, you know, queen f6, there's bishop e5. Just wondering, queen f5 for g4 there for queen f2. That might be worth playing to keep the pawn exploitable from the front. That consideration about the isolated queen's pawn, to keep the pawn a target. So I'm going to play with this idea to keep the queens on, and to play maybe for g4 here. So it's possible that g4 and queen f2 is dangerous. Around about here, after he takes. And I've still, that isolated pawn is still frontally exploitable. That's the thing about these weaknesses, you've got to keep them as actual weaknesses in terms of exploitability, otherwise they're not that weak. And in fact, yeah, I would have an isolated pawn there anyway, as if I did that. So b6 is a concern, but g4 surely should have been a concern here for queen f2. Of course, this could backfire with rook f1 later. So I'm wondering if there's another way of playing it. Just give up b6. Rook c8, rook c2 looks dangerous for rook f2. There's queen e5. Let's see. Would he let me have this rook on the 7th? Getting a rook on the 7th is usually pretty dangerous. There's a lot of Fischer games. He gets a rook on the 7th and usually it's over after that, and if it's in the middle game. And the end game, it's useful as well. I'm wondering about king g6 actually. Is there enough if I took that? If I played f6, I think he just takes and has an actual passed pawn here. Alright, let's be just content with this rook on the 7th. The pawn's still isolated the way he's played it. I thought he might consider that. So we've still got this, from my point of view, this isolated pawn, a rook on the 7th. I can have a nice blockade on d5 here. And that gives me opportunities of knight f4, knight e3. I want to cement my rook on the 7th here, or sometimes called pig on the 7th, because there's so many, statistically, there's so many pawns it's attacking. Think of the pawns, that's their default position. So if you go to the 7th rank with a rook, you've got so many pawns statistically. But knight d5 to f4. Now immediately rook g2, knight e3 might be possible. Knight e3 looks quite interesting here, just to avoid the rooks coming off. Now let's imagine rook e1, knight g2. The thing is with knight g2, I've got knight h4, and these pawns are isolated. So structurally, that's a disaster, potentially. I think rook c1, I'll play the check, and then think about what to do. Maybe rook d2 after. I think I'll play the check, and then rook d2. So I've fractured the pawns. So probably knight f5 to h4 to f3, but in the meantime rook c7. Ah, there's rook d1, checkmate. So what if I just keep the torture for a moment, win another pawn, knowing that the rook can't move because of rook b1. If the opponent's on a torture rack here, what can I get out of it before moving on? Okay, now rook c7 is on the cards. I can stop rook c7. I think I'll do that, actually, because I want to kick this knight from e5 with f6 without rook c7. Well, okay, I can kick the knight. But is that the best thing to do? I can slightly improve the position with a5 here. I think I'll do that instead, because I can arrange a fast passed a pawn without too much controversy at all. b5, b4, a3 is almost winning here. If we think about the controversy inherent in our plans, I'll mind you knight a4. This doesn't seem very controversial, just to play for rook b1 and a1. No, I'll just take that then. Alright, thanks for the game, Graf. Alright, PHC 123. Oh, this is quite dangerous, isn't it? I'm thinking to play e3 here, try and fun kill my opponent's gambit, cold shower. Give the opponent the old cold shower here, e3. I'm thinking let's stop this bishop h6 and place maybe c6, b5, because I think psychologically the opponent will not like this. Mind you, there's d5. I'll make sure d5 is ruled out before encouraging it, I hope. This knight g6 could be dangerous. But will he play it? I mean, he might play it. It's possible. Let's see, it's sort of dangerous. Can I play queen a5 here? Just with the threat of b4 and queen a2 to try and incur some extra weaknesses. Okay, so that's not happening. I'll hopefully decentralize the opponent a bit. My knight e4 threatens knight d6. I could just take, maybe. And I'm sort of fixing my opponent's pawns. Might be a safe time to do this. Mind you, g4. I could be getting hacked to death. c5 might be good with the idea of knight c6. There's bishop e4. Maybe this sort of plan for knight c3 is a bit better. Knight b6, knight d5, knight c3. Oh, knight h5 is happening. There's knight e5 here, queen e5, bishop c. There's no bishop c. There's the bishop c1. So knight h5. I think I'd rather try and crumble this center with c5 now. No. I've given my king as a target here. Let's see, does he sack? I might have some defensive resources like rook e8. It starts to get a bit dangerous. Okay, I'm inviting this piece sack. Although this tries to undermine the center and the diagonal, if I can get away with it. Let's see, knight h5. This is the scary thing. Say rook e8. Check. Let's say a rook coming in might be a killer. That's scary as well. But here, I don't know. Hold on, cd. So let's say I can take on e5 here. Or I can play bishop e7. Right, if I take on g4, then there's 95 of tempo if he's going to take with a rook. Well, I appreciate there's a lot of scrutiny around my king here, and I'm increasing that pressure. If I took that pawn, there's this one as well. Let's try knight e5 though. Now rook g5. Is that bishop f3? Oh, there's a check there as well. So maybe I should take that check there is too dangerous. Is it? King h8. So bishop f3, check king h8. Let's have a look. Oh, I didn't see that. I couldn't take because of bishop g7. I think I'm doomed. So I'm threatening knight f3 now though. Hang on a minute. Bishop e5, queen. Oh, there's knight g6. No, bishop e5. There's knight g6. Yeah, I'm pretty doomed here. Right, I can take here without that need. That's not necessarily mating. Rook g7. There's e5. Oh, well played. Oh, I got hacked to death. Okay, I think I have to Try and avoid that in future. Oh, blimey. Got hacked to death. Well played. Yeah, king safety. This is a sort of pet idea I've got, actually, in this system. Let's stop b5. So this is an aggressive idea, I hope. I'm depriving e5, so h5 and hg. Oh man, that was a nightmare. So anyway, okay, swiftly trying to forget. A takes b, so h5 here. I'm just trying to activate this rook without my center collapsing. I think there might be king f2, knight e2. Okay. Activate this rook. Unpin the e pawn. Oh, there's queen g5. Okay. Is there knight e4? I'll drop d5. This is. What about just knight b1? Is that too meek? Let's go with this. I think maybe king f2 with compensation of some sort, protecting g5 pawn there. Now, if bishop d5, knight f6 for bishop d5. If knight d5 is kind of pinned to the d6 pawn, so wondering about king f2. Okay, king f2 here for a moment. You can take like that. Okay. There's rook h4. Is that h6? What about rook h3? Maybe he's not going to play h6. I want to try and get him queen h1. Unless my knight's a target. My knight might be a target. Knight e3, queen d6. This idea of queen h1 is attractive. Potentially. Alright, the check. So if I play queen d6 here, I'm hoping there is a major tactical problem apart from losing a pawn. There's a problem. Let's imagine takes. Knight f5 I can take on f5. But I'm pawn down. Alright, he's trying to win my bishop there. lose another pawn on b2. Ooh. Like, do you want to f3? These pawns are pretty menacing. Oh. No, that's bishop e5. That's not good either. Oh. It's not very good. I think that's doomed. Yeah, looks pretty doomed. The rook h1 for a moment. Try and like grab these. Oh no, I think that's it. Oh, whoa, too good. Well played. Yeah, justifying his mega rating. Well played. Okay, McTowell. Okay, McTowell. So knight c6 again. I shouldn't have played knight c6, but anyway, I think knight f6 is more interesting overall. Knight f6 to d4. But anyway, okay, here I might like this with d5. So bishop c5 and d6. I'll try and keep the bishop. Maybe bishop d7, queen c8, bishop h3. I'll play this as a bit of fun. So knight g4 after. Oh, okay, there's I'll stop queen f3 here and threaten, because I think that's better than there, because I stopped queen f3. So knight f4 there'll be queen f3, but here I'm threatening mate without queen f3. So queen g2 is threatened without queen f3. I think it's difficult actually to defend now, because this pawn's also pinned. But that mate threat is yeah, difficult, yeah, if not impossible to defend that. Okay, thanks to the game, Nick. On this is a re-challenge, isn't it, from before? On okay. Oh, Onham's having some difficulty. It seems accepting the challenges, because we had this issue earlier. I wish I knew where my eye spray went. I'm going to have to order more of it. I don't know. I had this eye spray. I get watery eyes sometimes. And I don't know. I need to get more of it. Optrex or something. Okay. We might have to go to the next challenge. Right, we're going to go to the next challenge. Ah! Okay, good. Good, he's here. I was just about to abort. So the Austrian attack against Piot's defense. Austrian attack with a special H4, H5 is, I think, is one of my heaviest hitting variations since discovering the Nakamura line of sacking the knight on c3. This is one of my heaviest hitting variations. I think Foxwood Open or something. Nakamura uses Foxwood Open against the GM. He was up and coming junior, so crush this GM with this line. This piece. Andrew Martin told me it originates from another attack. Velimirovich might have introduced this whole concept much earlier. I think Andrew Martin told me on, was it Facebook? I know he might have messaged me on Facebook. It might have been a Facebook comment. This looks remarkably as though that's getting mated here with Queen F7. Okay, thanks for the game, Onam. King safety, guys. King safety. Perbulo. Okay. Perbulo. I'll try King's Indian defense. Now, Velimirovich, for me, his Velimirovich attack against the Sicilian, I don't know, it's got some just purely aesthetic appeal, how White castles queenside with the pawn storm. Just aesthetically, those games just look exciting. Anyway, coming back to this game, so is this going to be a standard King's Indian hack attack, or will I get demolished on the queen side so badly that it's one of the interesting things is the role of the c8 bishop here, because you often want to use this to sack on h3. So the infiltration on the queen side is not so bad if you don't lose the c8 bishop. I guess the importance of this is because these pawns are mostly on light squares, and h3 will be another light square. You just need to hammer that pawn chain tactically later. So let's imagine h5, g4, g3 later. Try and open up some dark squares as well with a pawn sack. Rook f7 is a standard attack defense move, because it can protect c7 for a little while longer, and swing to g7. a6 is kind of a recommendation I got ages ago by a very strong player. I've forgotten the name of. But anyway, sometimes it slows down White's attack on the queen side. Sometimes it might be worth including a6. So let's imagine bishop f8, rook g7, thematic idea g5, g4, I mean g4, g3, thematic idea. Is knight c6 dangerous? Queen e8, maybe. So what I want to do is rook g7, g4, g3, try and get a knight to f4 later with pressure on g2 frontally. If I've got rook on g7, there's frontal pressure on g2 later. Okay, so g3 is going to be arriving soon. Indeed. So the idea of this pawn sack, Paul Giorgio has actually emphasised this as well. To me, this pawn sack is kind of thematic, and you do see it a lot in master games. You get the dark squares are opened up, particularly f4. In fact, you can imagine knight h5 to f4 is already a little bit dangerous. Or even to g3. Even to g3. With a pawn on g3, that's near mating. If you get a pawn on g3, it's just nearly checkmate. So knight g3 is pretty dangerous. I could gain a bit of time with knight g3 here, I think. I don't want to take the exchange. I think just knight f4. Although bishop d6 might be useful. I'm not sure about that. Do I take this pawn? Do I play knight f4? Decisions. Knight f4 is another threat with knight e2. I'll insert this as well. Sometimes you should just let these pawns go to gain a few extra tempo. It's as if you don't really care about your queen side being dismantled in the King's Engine. What you care about is dark squares, big knights, big attack ideas. h3 could be dangerous. I'm immediately threatening that bishop on e2. But I think h3 is pretty dangerous. Because if the pawn's on g2, that looks pretty terminal. If he took there on g3, then the dark squares are weaker. You can imagine this diagonal for being significant later. But at the moment, it's covered. That c5 point's covered. I think h3 here is pretty dangerous as it goes. Now there would be the possibility of bishop c5 as well added to the mix. I think h is just so dangerous. I think d6, king h7, d7, queen h4, end of game. I might be taking a rook on f1 here. So I'm threatening queen h5, or I could take that rook. I think just rook takes and then let him have the rook and just queen h5 for queen h1. I mean, not bother taking the rook. The pawn's quite useful for attacking. It can be completely thematic, the King's Engine. I know it's not. It's more about feeling almost than calculation. You just got to feel that your queen side can be sacrificed for a few tempo. Okay, so commutator. The commutator. Let's play knight c6. Okay, so knight c6. So we've got a classical position, which I don't mind. I like the training on classical I'm getting with this. Now this is a mistake because of knight e5, so let's avoid that. I've had that horrible game a few weeks back on here with knight e5, and I looked it up, and indeed it's much better for white. So we got a classical. As it happens, I was about to say, I was checking out an Anand game in Tata Still, and his opponent with black played for g5. It was in a classical Winnipeg's thing. Eventually f5 was used. I know there's a few details. I don't think I'm going to do a video about it. It's too complicated, some of these games. They're more than 50 moves, and I can't be bothered usually. When I see more than 50 moves, I can't be bothered to do a video. If I see a game less than 30 moves, more tempted, if it's nice. But yeah, there's some interesting games at Tattle still anyway. But okay, what is this anyway? Probably the most exciting games, if I was going to cover some exciting games recently. My enthusiasm dampened a bit by the location, but I don't know. Was the world rapid, and okay, wasn't ideally not ideal from a certain country's point of view. But yeah, I don't know. If I don't cover the games that FIDE host their events in, I'll end up not covering any games, basically. FIDE just need to, I guess they primarily see it as a way of, they've got to get their money. So they just play anywhere, it seems. I mean, we'll probably, yeah, anyway. Let's get back to this game. So, but yeah, Blitz and Rapid, in theory, would be my most interesting source of games, actually. Barring other factors. So d5, then maybe ed and f5. So ed and f5. Oh, okay. Is there knight f2 here? There's queen d5, and then there's knight d3, or knight d3 if I want the exchange. I don't know if bishop f2 is an improvement on anything. I'll take that rook and be threatening knight f2 after. So maybe that's an improvement, because probably he wouldn't play king f1. If he plays king h1, it leaves this possibility of knight f2 check, winning the queen. So knight f2 check was why I decided on the tiebreaker for possibilities of between knight f2 and bishop f2. The tiebreaker was this possibility of knight f2. Okay, thanks, commentator. Kramnik student. Now he's good against the King's Engine, Kramnik student. And actually I have no idea what to play against him. Let's try this. Let's go back to celebrate the Benoni. Yes, I'll try and celebrate the Benoni if I can without getting smashed, hopefully. So a relic opening from the past. Okay, so I'm surprised he hasn't used the flick knife variation, which is like f4 and bishop b5 check. So this stuff, I mean, is just too dangerous for white, I believe. Tal won so many games in this. It's just too dangerous for white, this whole thing. This is not a critical test of the Benoni. I mean, there might be some d6 issue. I'm not sure it's a critical test anyway. I'm just tempted for f5 here because of hg and bishop d4 and queen h4 and king here and rook here. I could be overestimating this. Yeah, bishop f4 might still be on the cards. I might have got this all wrong. Okay, this might be all wrong. Yeah, bishop f4 is still on the cards. I think I have got it all wrong. Okay. Oh boy. Why did I do this? Oh, I didn't mean that either. Oh, no, I meant bishop d4. Okay. It's getting worse and worse. Okay. I meant actually to move the bishop. Okay. Knight. Okay, let's try and establish. I'm playing an odds game now. Okay, if I try and get my bishop d4 without moving the king, then queen h4 and g3, for example. Let's also create the possibility of rook a7 to h7. That's bishop b8, it's technicality. Rook h7 for queen h4. That's a downer. I should have played queen h4. Okay. Now king g2 promises a cozy position. Oh, let's put this rook in here anyway. Try and double. It's going to have a cozy position. Unless I can try and use that king on g2 here. Maybe there's rook h3 and rook h1. It might not be the end of the world, rook h3. Bishop d5 here looks good because that's loose piece as well to celebrate. Yeah, why is he giving me bishop d5? Bishop c3, rook e2, taking. Rook f3. Rook e2 to start off, and then takes queen d5. There's knight e2 takes away from d5, so takes queen d5. I can play queen e2. If I play bishop c3 first, then bishop f3 is winning the queen. Almost no, the bishop's protecting the queen. It takes rook e2, g takes. Takes rook e2, g takes. Takes queen e5. So if I start ball running with bishop c3, not queen c3, rook e2, b takes, rook takes, queen takes, pawn takes. No. Oh, okay, I'll try this. This gives me the possibility of queen d5. There's no check after. If the knight moves queen h5, checkmate. So knight takes queen h5. Knight e7 I take. Threatening queen f5. So imagine queen d3. Queen d3. This takes a knight f3 here. Yeah, sorry, sorry, I don't know, I don't know what to say. Okay, it's just pure tactics. It's pure tactics. All right, thanks, Seb. I didn't mean king f8. I mean, I really didn't mean king f8. That was really giving an odds game there at that point. That was not good. I just wanted bishop d4 immediately. Yeah. I didn't mean to give an odds game. Yeah. Okay, so Sebi. Okay, Sebi. But I do like. It's one of my favourites to look at the tell games in the Benoni. It's one of my so many games he slaughtered people tactically. It's such a tactical opening when you get that situation with the dark squares. It's one of these dark square counter-attacking systems. But anyway, so is Sebi around? Or should we go into the next game? Might have to go to the next game here. Okay, we'll go to the next game, I think. Okay, we'll go to the next game. Alright, this has given me a little nice centre anyway. It's tempting just to play f4 and e5 now. I'm looking at a Greek gift now at this rate. h4 and bishop h7. Okay, maybe not. Put that on hold. I think that's a good idea what he's done. Put these things on hold for a moment. Yes, I wanted that to improve my centre a bit. Okay, I'm not sure that's a big deal. Some pressure. Yeah, it's I don't see I've got an advantage yet. Take the rook out the firing line. I think I can afford knight g3. Let's unpin there. Maybe rook f5. If I double the rooks, there's a target here on f7. Bishop can participate there on f7 maybe later. So let's imagine, well, bishop d5 basically, bishop d5. And there's that pawn hanging as well, but I want bishop d5, I think, it's top priority. So bishop d5 and that stopped. I go here for bishop b3 then. This is the trump card without the counterpart. Oh yeah, there's a brilliant film, Mrs. Sloane or something I saw, and it's almost like she does play this chess game. She says you gotta be the one to play your trump cards right after the opponent plays theirs, and they're the one that should be surprised, not you. I thought that's actually quite almost interesting as a chess metaphor, because I think that reflects my last over the board game, where I think my opponent was thinking he was playing his last trump card to sort of queen and a pawn, and I bypassed that and played mine, so I think he was the one surprised. And it's this film called Miss Sloane. It's about the gun lobby in the States, and the First and Second Amendment, right to bear arms. But anyway, so they tried to get her to promote guns to women, and yeah, she was up against it, the might of the gun companies. This is a bit of a spoiler. Anyway, it's probably worth watching, but from a chess point of view, it's just what she said, I think, is quite interesting. From a chess point of view, I was thinking about that. So I don't know, queen f2 is I don't know, queen f2 is not doing anything. This knight's quite useful defensively. So queen f2 or queen f1. Mind you, say I lose a pawn here, e6, e7 looks remarkably dangerous. So, given that, I think I'll go with that, e6, e7 for rook f8. Oh, okay. Rook f5 seems also dangerous now, because this bishop's naturally taking an escape square from the king. On queen h6, maybe queen f3 for rook h5. I don't think these knight sacks are working. So rook h5 is basically on the cards here. And on queen h6, I think queen f3 for rook h5. Okay, I think rook h5, checkmate. Alright. Thanks for the game. So, Ashwin Singh. Okay. Let's try to play King's Indian Defense. Sorry, coming back to, I mean, I haven't really fully explored, I mean, okay, I saw that film recently. I haven't really fully explored the idea in chess, if that's valid, but I have had some games recently before seeing the film where I didn't put my opponent away and I was getting overexcited and then surprised. I think there is some logic to it anyway, of what she was saying, to kind of think about. So anyway, I want to stop going on about that now. Bishop f5 and e6, maybe. Maybe this is an okay position. I don't want a bad bishop. So e6 and there's knight e5. What about queen b6? Is that possible? Queen b6. I don't know if this is a reasonable position yet, or is it going to be terrible? Is e6 terrible? F6 just in case. Am I heading into big trouble with f6? I'm asking for it. e6 and I could be asking for it here. If I castle, there's a5. I'm not sure I like the look of this. I think I'm going to get slaughtered here at this rate. Maybe cd and e5 for bishop b4 at some point. cd. Right, cd, probably winning a piece. Okay. e5. Alright, there's queen d8 here. There's a6 even. e5 there. I took on e3 and then e5 cb. It looks so crushing. King f7 to unpin. AB is so crushing. Bishop d7 cd. AB. Maybe queen b6. Maybe queen b6. Okay, e5 here. I think CB's crushing. I'm just like aim for bishop b4 when he's not expecting it. I mean, it's over. I didn't get to castle in this game. That's always a bad sign. There's even queen d5. Oh man. It's a bad sign not castling. There's queen b7. So I'm just a rook down out of that terrible opening. Only a rook down. There's a possibility of a tactical slip up, maybe, or not. Takes check. Bishop c5 is mating. No, he's always got there. Okay. Although if the pawn was there, it would stop king g3. So takes check. Bishop c5. The knight's holding c5. There's a few things stopping this working. This little trick. That's just a perpetual check anyway. Okay, it's just a perpetual check anyway. Rook e7. Right, bishop e1 or something. If he moves the rook. Bishop c2. Try and get him to move the rook. Bishop c2 here. Oh, he's not going to move the rook. Okay, I think he's just going to win with technique there. Oh. Okay, so bishop e1 is a space for the bishop. So I'm just a rook down for nothing. That was such a bad opening. Okay, I resign there, I think. Okay, well played. I think there's time for one more challenge. Regular. Okay, maybe bought this. Okay, is there a quick time limit challenge? Just to finish up on a quick time. There's a 3-minute here. Whoa. Okay. Try this system again. I'm hoping for a bit more luck. I'm not. This quick h-file attack. My sons are going to get smashed. I play bishop a3, bishop f7, queen g6. If it takes queen h5. I'll mind you, there's king f8 as well to think about. What about queen g6 there? No, he just takes. Okay, bishop f7. Oh, he just does that. I didn't see that at all. Oh, no, yeah, that leaves me with like nothing. Oh. Okay, that was a quick one to finish the session. Alright, bit of a disaster there at the end. Alright, okay, I think that finishes the session. Well played, guys. This week, well played. I thought I had something there for a moment, for a little moment. All right. Okay. Have a nice rest of the day. Nice week. See you next week. Thanks so much. Cheers then.